Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Frantic Talks podcast, episode 40. I am your host, Frantic. Along with me, as always, is my lovely co-host.
Grunt. Hey.
And we are here to talk about video games.
And junk.
So, if you're watching live, pardon. Oh, there we go. The video was messing up. It wouldn't show the background for some reason. Although I just tested it. I don't understand. Anyways. It doesn't work sometimes. All right, we're going to get the advertising out of the way now. It's not actual advertising. That's just what we call it. Remember, as always, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at FranticJ3. He is at Onyx Spartan, ONYX Spartan, all one word. And then you can hit us up at Frantic_Talks. That is our official Twitter account where we tweet more professional things, I guess is the best way to put that. Beyond that, there is twitch.tv. Yeah, you could say that. Twitch.tv/FranticJ3 the third. That is FranticJ3, THE, the number 3RD. Because some bastard took FranticJ3. And I did just try to change it right before we went live, but it wouldn't let me. So sorry about that, guys.
Disappointment.
It makes it all the much more harder to get to us. Anyways, FranticTalks.com and magic.frantictalks.com. It's the mothership. That's where we post all our articles and stuff. Although we'll be probably posting more videos than articles here lately, but we'll get to that, don't worry. And then beyond that, you can hit us up on Facebook.com/Frantic Talks, all one word. That's where we will usually post the articles and stuff as well, similar to what we tweet, just less frequently. And then if you go to YouTube, you can search up Frantic Talks and find all the video forms of this podcast, and you can subscribe to the channel. We just don't have an official account or an official URL to send to you guys. We're going to be uploading a lot more stuff there than just this podcast, and like I said, we'll probably talk about that here in a little bit. But that's pretty much everything. That's how you can find us, continue the conversation. But let's get into our normal stuff. Grunt, how was your week? Or weeks, I guess, because it's been like 3 weeks.
2 weeks. Or as you do it, 2 weeks? I don't know. I don't know. But all I found out is when you did 2 like that, that's just amazing.
For those of you listening to audio only, I do the devil horns as 2. I always do it that way. So
I forgot about our audio listeners. I'm sorry, guys.
I always try to make sure that they know.
Oh, yeah. My past couple weeks have been good. Couple weeks ago, I actually played my first game, Magic.
Nice.
Yes.
That's always fun.
Yeah, brief recount of that is it went horrible.
Really?
Yes, and the fact that I got absolutely slaughtered. So, yeah. I got my dad interested in playing Magic, so we took... he took one of his pre-constructed Kaladesh Planeswalker decks that he bought.
Yeah.
I wanted to use my deck that I built because I just finished it. A few days before that, we played, and I wanted to use that one, but I'm like, no, I'll be nice, and I'll just use my pre-constructed Kaladesh deck. So we did that. He was using the Nisa deck, and I was using the Chandra one.
Yeah.
He got to play his Planeswalker, and he just fed off of the one ability for life every single time. It's like, oh, well, this is awkward.
Seems like that might be a little imbalanced when you play them against each other. As I burp into the microphone.
Yeah. So it was partially that, but it was mostly due to the fact that I discovered I am horrible at shuffling decks.
Oh, really?
I literally played 2 actual creatures, because all I could find were lands or the vehicle artifacts.
So yeah, you couldn't...
I couldn't do anything.
You couldn't crew them if you don't... Yeah, okay, nice.
Exactly. So it was a little rough, but it wasn't too bad. I enjoyed it for it being my first game. I enjoyed the walloping I got. I think the final health was like 26 to -2, -1. So, ugh.
Yeah, that sounds pretty rough.
Other than that, I've been playing a lot of Destiny. Finished the raid a couple times, actually. The new raid, that's probably my second favorite raid, maybe just behind Vault of Glass.
I also got to finish the raid.
Ooh.
Not heroic mode, but you know.
It's going to be a little bit before I even attempt to do that. Let's see, what else? Also going to start working on a little video project that might mention later on.
I'm sure we'll get there, don't worry.
Maybe, maybe not. That's pretty much it though.
Yeah,
Gonna be
sounds like it's been a good week
binge watching The Walking Dead this weekend or this past weekend.
because it comes back Sunday, right?
Comes back Sunday, yes.
Which is
Also,
tomorrow when we're recording this.
yes. Also, fingers crossed, everything crossed that the freaking Cubs win on Saturday tonight.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
God.
they're one game away, aren't they?
Yes. Don't
Yeah.
remind me. They're one game away.
So, for those of you who don't know what the Cubs are, what one game away means, Major League Baseball's in its final games. There are essentially 3 teams left, and the World Series is the equivalent of the Super Bowl, if you know what that is. If not, it's just the championship. And the Cleveland Indians are the one team that is officially in the World Series, and it is down to the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs. And Grunt, being 5 minutes from Chicago, might be a fan. He's not 5 minutes from it, but you know. In comparison to basically everybody else listening, he's much closer than we are. And to be fair, I'm very much closer to Cleveland than everyone else. I'm 4 hours from Cleveland, so.
Question is, are you going to be rooting for Cleveland now?
I should root for the Ohio-based team, considering I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan, which is the other Ohio baseball team, but who is rivaled of the Cubs, which is why I should really, really vote for them. But I personally don't care. I'd like to see either team win. I think it would be interesting if Cleveland won only because the Cavaliers, which are our basketball team, won the championship this year as well. So basically, the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Cleveland Indians will have brought home 2 sports trophies, and then the Cleveland Browns will be the only winless team in the NFL.
Man,
if you didn't understand that, the Cleveland Browns are the football team from Ohio, one of the football teams from Ohio, and they have yet to actually win a game this season.
That sucks.
I think. Yeah, they didn't win their game last week. They're the only winless team left.
Man, that sucks.
But yeah. They're just a factory of sadness.
To add one last thing before I finish up here, to add on to that, back when the Cubs started their postseason run here, I bought a Kaladesh booster pack, like the weekend that they started their first, was it the divisional series game? I think it was.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I'm sensing superstitions coming, but continue.
Oh, yes, yes. I pulled a creature card out of it that's a goat. Now, a brief history, if I'm remembering this correctly, supposedly the Cubs are cursed by a goat. That's why we haven't been to the World... Why we haven't won the World Series for 108 years. Not that anyone's counting. So, being a diehard, lifelong Cubs fan, that was not something I wanted to see when they're starting their postseason games.
Well then.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, I
didn't know that was why they were plagued from it. I thought they were just plagued from just sucking. But, you know.
Yeah. Anyways, that's how my
right.
past couple weeks have been, now that I've taken up way more time than usual. How was your weeks?
It's good. My weeks were pretty good. So we haven't recorded for the past, 2 weeks. So we've technically missed out 2 episodes. So apologies, but life gets in the way. I was actually in Chicago for one of those weekends, is why I wasn't able to record. So I was very close to you, although I couldn't come over because we were only there for a day. And then the other weekend we were in Indianapolis. So we've been pretty busy on the weekends. But I finally got a weekend. Yeah, honestly, I'm going to a wedding after this, so it's not like I have an entire weekend open. But I have been able to get some gaming in, too, surprisingly enough. I've been pretty busy. So playing a lot of Destiny was mainly the thing I played. And I did the raid, which was a lot of fun. I did it with, I want to say 100% clan members, or not, it was like one of the people in our group wasn't actually in the clan. And that clan being the one Freak Show. Shout out to Freak Show. The one clan he and I kind of started, well, he started and put me in it, which is Rubber Ducky Death Squad is our name. And we just got a bunch of people in the clan now. I just got on one day and there were like 20 people. And it was like, what happened? How did we get this many people? So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's funny because it was originally just him and a few of his other friends, and then a couple people just out of the blue joined. That person recruited a couple of his friends to join the place. And then a few weeks ago, Freak Show started getting some people that he knew to join. So
It's growing
It's
pretty
growing.
quick.
It's growing.
So got to finish the raid. The raid's a lot of fun. I really liked it. It didn't, for my first time doing it, although everyone else was like 385 light, and I'm sitting here like 360. I mean, it took us 45 minutes maybe to do the whole thing, so they knew what they were doing. They all said it was the fastest run they've done, so that was kind of cool for my first time to be the fastest everyone's done. But other than that, it was a lot of fun, and I
So,
definitely like it.
what would you say is your favorite part of the raid?
See, Freak Show asked me that same question, and I couldn't say for sure because I liked a lot of it. I mean, I enjoyed the fact that there was no complex jumping puzzles. Like, there are technically jumping puzzles, but they're not hard. Like, I didn't die once doing them on my first attempts. And I don't know. I enjoyed each one because the way they use mechanics in it are a lot better than, or not a lot better, but a lot more unique and not as challenging as like King's Fall, where you have to be able to jump through platforms and people jump on platforms at the right time according to a reverse clockwise axis and all this dumb shit. Then again, I haven't done the Outbreak Prime quest line, which is stupid when you have to figure out how to do certain things. There's puzzles that are really dumb in that one. But anyways,
Just reading binary code. You'll love
yeah.
that part of it. I'm sure
yeah,
you will.
it's really dumb. I don't know. I like the thing as a whole. I guess I'd have to say the Death Zamboni was pretty fun. That's been personally one of my favorites. Because it was just hilarious. So
It really is. I think I like the Vossic encounter and then the Death Zamboni or Siege Engine, whichever you prefer. So,
yeah, I don't mind the last boss, but I'd say he's my least favorite. Axis. So,
yeah.
Either I liked it all. It was a lot of fun. But anyways, beyond that, haven't done too much. Been listening to a lot of different music and trying to write stuff, but haven't. Reading some comics that I've been getting. Been trying to get into graphic novels, which there's a slight distinct difference between comic and graphic novel. And then, I mean, honestly, beyond that, I just purchased a new graphics card. So for any tech junkies out there that care, the desktop I have right now that I record this podcast on and play my games on runs two GTX 260s, which are very old considering, like 2009, they were the best thing to have. So they've been going for a while, but they do not support DirectX 12, which is what a lot of stuff coming out has now. So for instance, Halo 4 or Halo 5's Forge mode requires DirectX 12. I can't support DirectX 12, so I can't do Forge mode on my PC. I can't do any of the new Call of Duty games. Not that I want to, but I got one for free and tried to just test it out and see what it was like. I couldn't play it. And any of the new games that I might be interested in, like for instance, I don't know, Doom or something, if I ever got if I ever got Doom, I wouldn't be able to play it. So I finally got some money that we're setting aside and purchased a GTX 1060 for a hilariously cheap price. And that should be here in the next week, and I'm going to have pretty sweet setup. It can support 4K, so that'll be fun.
You heard it here, folks. The next podcast will be in 4K.
That's not how this works. My camera runs at 1080p, and yours probably does too, so nope.
Shut up. That's how it works.
Nope, not even close. So, yeah, I'm really excited for that. I was really surprised when I was like looking at the specs for like my motherboard. I thought I went like a cheap route on the motherboard, so I was gonna have to like upgrade a lot of stuff. But I have plenty of RAM, and the RAM is irrelevant when it comes to the GPU. But when I looked at the motherboard, I was surprised to see that it supported PCI Express 3, which is the latest generation. And like having PCI Express 2 is good, but I don't know if it's latest generation, but it's all I've seen. For when I built the desktop in late 2013, I was surprised that my motherboard was able to handle so much stuff. So I guess that was a good call on my end when I picked out the motherboard, but,
Man, it's almost like you did research or something into it, I'm sure.
I mean, I had help from someone who knew what they were doing, but I was like, here's what I want. I picked this one out. He said, try looking again. You need to pay attention to these little details. And then I picked this one, and he was like, yeah, it's a good one. That's pretty much how everything went. So,
I mean, that works.
Yeah.
It works too.
So that'll be next week. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm probably going to be playing some PC stuff and not Destiny, but I'm sure you won't blame me. Beyond that, I haven't done anything else, honestly. That's really been the bulk of my time, really.
Yeah,
Watching a lot of TV. This is not necessarily related to gaming, but I just cut my ties from cable. I just have internet supported by Time Warner Cable now. in favor of an app called Sling TV. And as of this recording, I've been using it for 3 days and loving it, loving every second of it. I've also been using like the CW app to watch, Flash, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow, which actually I watched all the episodes I had missed this past week right before recording this. So that was really nice. So just kind of like sit down and binge watch all 3 of them and not you have to pay anything beyond just watching some advertisements. And then, let's see. Like I said, I was using this app called Sling. It's just you can pick cable packages. It's significantly cheaper than your typical cable packages from Time Warner or AT&T or DirecTV or whatever. Yeah, that's been really good. And I get my NFL Red Zone, which is the whole reason I didn't want to cut ties with cable because I thought you could only get it on cable. Sling offers Red Zone. It's an extra package on top of a base package, and I can cut that whenever I want. So when I'm not using it, the other like four months of the year, I can just not have it. So that'll be nice. Actually, it's more than 4 months, but it's a month-to-month basis, no contracts and shit. So,
well,
not to just, I mean, if we had to advertise, I'd only advertise things I enjoy, and so far I'm enjoying that. They're not paying me to say any of this because, frankly, they don't know who I am. But that's not the point.
They will after you're done here.
Maybe, just maybe. But I'm enjoying that. So it's opened up an HDMI slot on my TV, which will probably be replaced with a Steam Link, so I can game off my PC in my living room. So that'll be fun. Just gotta, buy one. Cost that money thing or whatever.
What's money?
What is money? What is money? Anyways, that's been my weeks. We talked a little bit longer there, so let's start talking about some of the stuff that's happened in those past couple weeks. So first up, I'm gonna pull up the Bungie weekly update, this week at Bungie, whatever you want to call it, which has nice full geared SIVA people, and that's just kind of, we already kind of talked about it for the most part, but we've been playing a lot of Destiny, so might as well hit up on what's changing there and what's coming up. It's the Festival of the Lost or something like that.
It is indeed. October 25th, Festival of the Lost. It's a Halloween-centered event. Like last year, they had it to where you could go out and play like Crucible matches or do patrols and kill things, and you get candy. You fill up your bag of candy, quote-unquote. And you take it back to one of the people at the tower, and you trade it in, and you got a new bag to go collect more candy, and you got a mask. There was something, I think it was basically just like glue that you could take and upgrade these blue-colored, blue rarity masks, and then have legendary ones, and you got to keep those. At the end of the event, the blue ones went away, so that's kind of why you wanted the glue. If you got a really cool mask, you could keep it from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
So...
are they the same, like where, I was going to say they're the same where their light level is just like 1 or something like that?
Back then they had no light level, so yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. They were purely cosmetic items. You couldn't actually wear them. If you want to do like, King's Fall was out at that time, right? Yeah, it was. If you want to do the King's Fall raid, you would probably not want to use a mask unless you were crazy.
Yeah. I get you.
But they also had quests that you could do. I don't remember exactly what they gave you as quest rewards, but some of them was like they had an Atheon mask, and it required you to, quote-unquote, trip off the tower as Atheon. Little reference to everyone cheesing Atheon off of the edge with solar grenades as warlocks back in year 1. Nice. There's one for doing like heroic strikes as one of either the speaker or the traveler. So it was just basically just a fun event. There's really no super fancy reward behind it, but it was just a event behind to acknowledge and celebrate Halloween in the game, even because people do that.
Gotcha.
So.
Well, cool. So I was going to ask, because later on they show us these new weapon ornaments, and I believe I was told that you can only get them through this festival. Is that true, or are they just releasing them in the same time?
I'm not exactly sure when it'll be available.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they will be available from October 25th when the Festival of the Lost event starts, and I would assume to at least the very end of it. So I don't know if it's like a limited time thing or if it's not. I don't know.
I hope not. There are new ornaments, and if you aren't familiar with ornaments equip to exotic weapons and make them look different. They're kind of like skins. There are some new ones coming that for weapons that don't have them yet. Those weapons are the Bad Juju. Woo! I'm excited for that one. Followed by, what is it, the Suro's Regime? Is that what that is?
I don't actually have it pulled up.
Well, it's the one with the knife on the understock, and it's the auto rifle.
That's Red Death. It's pulse rifle.
Oh, Red Death. Really? Well, shit. I'm bad at this. The Thorn.
Yeah, I mean, what?
And I believe. Thanks. And so apparently, the Last Word and Black Spindle will also get in on the festive action, but they didn't have a picture. So.
Somewhere there, I think they also mentioned that those are coming later on. Gotcha. The last two, the Black Spindle and Last Word, I believe, are coming during their winter release, as they say, I believe, if I remember correctly from when I read that the other day. It
says before the dawning of 2017.
All right, well.
So they'll get ornaments as well, it would seem.
Right.
Okay.
I'm pretty curious to see what the Black Spindle ones looks like, because the weapon itself is basically just this like glossy black with like bones or scales or whatever on it. So it looks pretty cool in its own right. I'm curious to see how they can up the ante with the ornaments.
Yeah, because I remember seeing the Black Spindle for the first time. It looked crazy. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, excuse me. Something else got announced this week.
What could that be?
Two things got announced this week. One could arguably be bigger than the other. We're going to talk about one for the rest of the episode towards the end, but let's jump to the one that's not a new system and is instead very red.
And
Holy
dead.
Crap, that's red. It's also dead. Redeemable as well. So Red Dead Redemption 2 was officially announced. We got like a minute and a half gameplay, not even gameplay, just trailer of what looked to be in-game renderings. And honestly, it looks really crazy, like really high detail, high def and everything. But I can't truly speak to it because I never played the first one and I didn't play Red Dead Revolver. So
yeah.
Everybody's going nuts about it though. Because everyone loved this game.
A lot of people love the Red Dead Revolver and then Red Dead Redemption, so they're obviously excited for it. I don't know if it'll be a game I'll check out, but maybe depending on what I see later on, maybe I will. Who knows?
Yeah.
My holiday wish list for games is already up to it's actually 3, but I might add a couple more to that as I go.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Brock says that we should name this episode Redeemable as well.
I'm okay with that.
That's not a bad title. We might be able to come up with something better, though. We'll see. Something better, as if I'm like, oh, my own words suck. I forgot to pull up a screen for it, so we'll briefly mention it. Battlefield 1 was also released within the past couple of days.
It was actually this past Tuesday.
I thought it was Tuesday, but then I watched a video that was talking about it coming out yesterday, and the video was released on a Friday. So it made me think it wasn't released on a Tuesday for some reason. It would make more sense if it was, though. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Battlefield 1 has been getting really good responses. I believe the Metacritic score when I last saw it was at 89.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, a lot of people would say, well, it's just another Battlefield game, kind of like Call of Duty, where they always tend to get really good reviews because it's Call of Duty and they pay off the reviewers or whatever your theory on that is. And I have not personally played Battlefield 1 beyond the beta. I enjoyed the beta, but I felt like it had its issues, and I believe we did cover that when we played the beta. We had a podcast, where we talked about it. And I don't know if those issues have been fixed because, like I said, I haven't played the game, but I've watched some gameplay of it, and I must say that the story honestly seems good. And that's really weird to say because Battlefield's never been known for its story, at least as of recent. And there's a specific scene, and this might be mild spoilers, so if you don't want to hear about this, just plug your ears or fast forward a little bit. But basically there is an episode, not an episode, I don't know why I said episode. There is a part of the game where you fly a carrier pigeon over a battlefield. And this sounds hilarious, but when you watch it actually, like I watched a video of it, when you watch it in the context that it's in, it's actually like really moving and powerful, not to sound like I don't know what the right term would be. I don't want to say emotional, but not to sound like I guess lame. It's the best way to put it. It's just basically your tanker's like under attack, and then they fly this they send off this pigeon, and you're carrying it or controlling it, and then you just get the little shadow puppet bird here.
Oh my god.
Because you can't see he can't see me, so I'm just over here doing dumb shit while he's like just staring into oblivion. Anyways, now you're flying it over this battlefield, watching it all erupt below you, while just this like really sad piano riff goes on, and it's a pretty strong scene, I guess is the best way to put that. You know, I can't speak too much more to it, but that it highlights World War I, how brutal and bloody it was, in a way that none of the modern shooters have really tried to highlight.
That's what interests me so far. After you told me about that, is that's what I kind of wanted from Battlefield 1. Is I wanted a good campaign. When I buy a new game, I don't necessarily buy it specifically for the multiplayer. Say for like GTA 5, that's the only game that I actually did that for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm buying it for that campaign, because if I can go back and play through that campaign and I enjoy it several times, then I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. And we've been over this several times before, so basically I'm glad to hear that so far for Battlefield 1. So
me too, because it sounds like it's not just another Battlefield game, and while it does play like a Battlefield game, it's got a lot more to it.
Right.
Nice.
A lot of people just, play through the Battlefield or even the Call of Duty story, if they even do that, and they just go straight to the multiplayer after a couple hours. So interesting too that they're going sounds like they're going a little bit darker story for it too, covering actually what war may have been like during that time frame. So
yeah, I like that idea. I like that. And I just like that in general, because that moves away from an arcadey shooter to a more what it kind of started as, which is a realistic shooter.
Right.
So anyways, so we're going to move on now. I got one more thing I want to cover before we talk about the console that was announced this week, and that is this series I've stumbled across on YouTube. Man, that went from really bright red to really just bright. Wow. So there's this YouTube channel called COG Connected, COG, COG, just in case I didn't enunciate that well enough. And he has, I think they're a group, but one of the guys does this thing, and he basically takes the Halo games and looks at them, and the titles on screen are better way to put it. Halo Combat Evolved 14 years later, Halo 2 11 years later, Halo 3 9 years later, etc., etc. And he just released Halo Reach 6 years later, earlier this week, basically. And he's going to do Halo 4 at some point, but it takes him a couple of months to do these videos, which I don't blame him. They're 30-minute videos or longer. I recommend these to anybody who's a Halo fan, honestly. I don't care what your opinions are of this game. He tries to objectively view them and tell you what could be issues, what were issues with it, story-wise, multiplayer-wise, gameplay-wise, and the like. And it's really done well. I really like it. And I may not agree with everything he says, but he puts it in a very good, very formal, well thought out, and as far as he can be objective way. So if you have the time to sit down and watch a couple of these, honestly, I've watched them all about twice since I found them. Especially the Halo 2 one, it's really good. Of course, it's my favorite game, and honestly, it's his too. And he has a lot of good points to make about it, how it was good and how it was bad. So I would definitely give these a watch if you're at all a fan of Halo, whether it was recently or not recently. Doesn't matter. He does a really good job here. So.
Oh, I know you tweeted the link to me to the Halo Reach one earlier in the week, and I haven't had the chance to watch it, so I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
Super good, man. Super good. So, anyways, moving on here, let's talk about this whole new console. I think we're going to switch topics here and talk about this new console.
What new console? Something. Ha! I see what you did there. It just,
did it just click?
Wow. It just clicked on. Oh my god.
The Nintendo Switch, for those of you that didn't get the joke. So the Nintendo Switch was revealed. Oh, he's dying right now.
I can't believe that went over my head like that.
Whew. Freak Show will be proud of that when he hears it. So the Nintendo Switch. When was it? When was it revealed? Was it on Tuesday? Wednesday?
Wednesday,
It was like midweek.
yeah.
So the Nintendo Switch is the next genre. I was gonna say next generation, and then for some reason stopped. The next generation console for Nintendo. It is what was codenamed the NX. We now have officially confirmed what it is, and the trailer. Like the reveal trailer is about 3.5 minutes. It does a really good job of showing you everything it can do. But for those of you listening and who are looking at the screen, seeing that it looks like a gamepad, I'm gonna try and explain it to you. So the Nintendo Switch is a console that has a imagine an Xbox 360 controller, but that can also be kind of covered up and has like your Wii pad, thumbsticks and stuff. So the nunchucks and not the nunchuck, but the actual controller that connected to the nunchuck. Imagine 2 of those are on the side of a gamepad. Also, the gamepad plugs into the console, and the gamepad is a screen that plays the console. And I know I'm not doing a good job of explaining this, but I truly can't come up with the best way to put this. Essentially, there's a gamepad that goes along with the console, but the gamepad is a portable console itself. So unlike the Wii U, where you could have the gamepad turned on and connected to the Wii U and just play it, this thing can go on the move and play wherever you want. And it has like a bunch of different ways you can like change the configuration physically of the gamepad and all of its controllers to where you can just kind of be a jack of all trades in terms of a game console. So, like I said, there's these like little controllers that are reminiscent of the Wii controllers. There's a Pro controller. The Wii controllers can be like plugged together to make another controller. You can give someone one controller and do like multiplayer. You can just take this somewhere, meet up with a friend, and play Smash Bros at a diner or something if you guys want to do that. There's so much you can do.
Basketball.
It's 2-on-2 basketball. So that's shown in the trailer. The reveal trailer also shows gameplay for a bunch of third-party games, including Skyrim and NBA 2K17. Although they have not been confirmed, I don't know why they would show us that if we're not going to get them. But they have confirmed third-party publishers, I think 50 of them, and the people who made those games like Activision and Bethesda were confirmed as third-party developers. It's just they declined to comment because they, I'm going to assume, aren't allowed. So that is what the NX is. I hope I just explained it enough. I hope I explained it enough. If you have the chance, go check out the reveal trailer if you haven't already. So, what do you think about this, Grunt?
Well, I wasn't one to jump on the Wii U bandwagon. I say that, but I admit the Wii U looked cool, but it's just like, what was actually their last thing? It wasn't the Wii U, was it?
No, it was the Wii U.
Was it? I don't remember, honestly. But I didn't jump on that bandwagon. I probably won't for the Switch either, but I have to admit it does look pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't take my gaming with me. I leave it at home. Because if I'm out for a reason. I'm not even sitting there on my phone that I have playing a game. So, it really doesn't appeal to me, but it does look cool. The fact that you can take it, with you.
Just about anywhere.
Just about anywhere. I'm curious as to how far you could take it with you. Because, like, the PlayStation 4, I think it is, that has the PlayStation Anywhere or whatever, where you can basically have your console on at home and play your game on whatever device it is that they let you play it on. That concept looks cool. The fact that the Switch has that kind of thing with it too is interesting.
Yeah.
And like you said, Bethesda and Activision, they're not confirmed. They haven't confirmed what they're doing or anything for the Switch, but I'm curious to see what they do, because those are pretty large names to be doing something that usually you really didn't see on Nintendo last time. So
yeah, I got a chance to sit down with some of my friends at a bar on Thursday when it was revealed, and talk to them about what they thought. We had a bunch of different back and forths, and the main things that came up, one, this is the first time I've seen a Nintendo game system that I'm actually excited for. Now, I'm not someone who goes out and buys Nintendo things the day they come out. I've never done that. I played a lot of Pokemon when I was younger, played a lot of Game Boy when I was younger, didn't really have any Nintendo systems beyond the Super Nintendo, of which I played Super Mario, Turtles in Time, and Tetris Attack. I think were the only 3 games I really ever played for it. That being said, I have a Wii U because I wanted to have a way for my friends to just come over and play Super Smash Bros. Because we enjoy playing that. And I played a little bit of Splatoon on it. I really like this system. I think it is smart. It's going to be very good. And I wonder what this means for the 3DS. And that was something else that came up in my discussion with my friends. And they seem to think that they're going to be... my thought was, if I can have a portable console, why would I want a 3DS? Like, why not just offer the same games on the console? Because the console, which we didn't say, but it uses cartridges. It doesn't use discs, which is its own discussion, in which I'm 99% sure they were probably going to be using solid-state drive cartridges, which is amazing, by the way. But we talked about it a bit, and I'm just like, what about the 3DS? Because if you can give me Pokemon Sun and Moon on this console, why would I ever need a 3DS? And they haven't confirmed if they're going to do that or anything. I'm just saying it almost seems like they're taking what Windows did with their trying to merge like console and PC. It seems like they
universal program.
Yeah, it almost seems like Nintendo could be trying the same thing, but you know that's more speculation than it is confirmed or anything like that. It was just something that ran through my head that's like, if I can have a mobile console, why would I need a mobile handheld? When I mean the handheld's already mobile, but what's the point?
That would actually be very interesting if you could play your 3DS games on your Switch.
Yeah,
I don't know if it would even be physically possible, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All depends on how the setup and all that stuff is for the 3DS compared to the Switch, but I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I definitely think this is a good thing. It's going to be awesome. But what really blew my mind was the next day, the stock price of Nintendo fell 6 points.
True.
I want to say.
Wow. Really?
And that was because of the reveal trailer. And I don't know why. I've been talking to my coworkers. They're the ones who brought it up to me. I've been talking to them trying to figure out what it could have been. And we have a bunch of different theories going back and forth as to why. But the best one we could come up with, the best few we could come up with were, one, if you watch the reveal trailer, there are no children in it. Nintendo games tend, and I'm not going to say all, tend to be more children friendly. It seems like they were trying to target more our age group, the I don't know, 18 to 30 maybe, I guess is where I could aim it, ballpark it. Looked like they were trying to target that more. And I mean, there was a couple other random things like I don't know, Skyrim was from 2011. About damn time they got a game that's 5 years old on their system. I don't know. It's just, I can't think of a good reason as to why this would be causing their stock to drop. And one of my coworkers was like, "Oh, it's just the fallout of Pokemon Go isn't making any more money." Essentially, it's like I don't think that's the issue, but
you would have noticed that sooner. And
yeah,
the timing for it was pretty coincidental if that was the case.
Yeah. So I was a little upset about that, but I honestly like it. I think it's gonna be really good. It has to be, unless they just come out with a bunch of crappy games. But it seems like it's just gonna be like I said, jack of all trades is the best way to put it, of consoles. Now, that's not to say the hardware is going to be crazy impressive. If it comes out with a 2-hour battery life and you have to constantly be charging it and the games are pretty okay, then it's not going to be very good, which that's another thing we discussed is a battery life going to be worth it to have a mobile console?
That's actually going to be huge.
Yeah, that'll make or break it right there.
That's going to be a huge factor that people are going to take into consideration when running out and buying one.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on it. And if you don't have anything else to add, I want to end on a certain note, and then we can close everything up here.
No, not really. I mean, like I said, it looks cool. I agree with your point. It's going to be interesting to see what games come out for it. You know, that's always the huge thing whenever a new console comes out is what games is it going to launch with and come out with. What's going to be available to play on it after a certain amount of time with it being out, you know, the first year maybe.
Yeah.
for 6 months of it. So I'm interested to see what all they come out with.
Yeah, one of our
3DS,
theories.
3DS games, depending on how that's a huge opportunity there.
Yeah, it really is. It'll be interesting to see what all they do with it. But one of our other theories was that the lack of information on the specs of the hardware and what launch titles it'll have were another issue. But
Oh yeah, we didn't actually
um,
get specs for it, did we?
no, and that's where I'm going to move into this last point. When we were at the bar, we all kind of had a silent wager of, well, I guess silent wager isn't the right way to put it, but we didn't. We were just like, where do you think it'll come out, released wise, money wise? How much do you think this is going to cost? So I want to extend that onto here, and I will officially set it in stone what my official guess is. But that way we can just kind of like play a quick game here of what do you think the Nintendo Switch will cost when it releases in March of 2017? Grunt.
I'm gonna say it'll probably release around $250.
Okay.
Lower end, considering they might want to get people into it.
Yeah.
I
My
think
friends. Oh, sorry.
250, 250, low end. High end would be maybe about 400. But I really don't see it being 400.
And my friends were guessing next gen console prices, so they were up in the 400 realm, is what they were thinking. And my guess is basically your guess, but not nearly as much of a high end. I said initially 250, and they were really surprised. And when you think about it, the new 3DS, the newest version of the Nintendo 3DS, is $200 currently. So I can see where 250 is low, but honestly, Nintendo's thing has always been game quality over game hardware.
Uh-huh.
And they have their own. We do know that it is a NVIDIA powered system. That's all we know. So NVIDIA just released the best graphics card in the market at $600 to $700 compared to your typical over $1,000. So I'm gonna stick with my guess that I told my friends and say 250 is my guess, and 350 is as high as I think it will ever reach if it is that on day one. So that's where we're going to guess. Grunt says 250 to 400. We got Brock guessing around 300. I'm at 250 to 350. My friends think it'll be over 400 at most. And they're saying like 400 low, basically. So tweet us. I'd love to get you guys involved with this. So send us your guesses on Twitter. I'd love to hear what you guys think the ballpark price is going to be. Well, not ballpark. I mean, what is it going to be? But we can definitely just see who gets it right. And if someone gets it right, like on the dot, which isn't going to be too hard, it's probably going to be a 50 or 100, like a division of those. I don't know. I feel like we could give them a gift card or something. It'd be really fun.
It would be.
Get you people involved. All right. Well, we're running out of time here. I got to get going and change into a nice suit or something. It's a wedding. So we'll wrap things up here unless you got anything else to add, Grunt.
Do we want to quickly mention our future projects or?
Yeah, we were supposed to talk about that and we didn't.
Well,
so
make mention of them briefly.
Yeah, go on top of yours real quick. Don't want to spoil too much because those will either be I don't know if they'll be done in the next week, but they are. Oh, well. I'm
hoping to get mine done sometime this week. I just gotta find the time. Anyways, in episodes past, even on articles on our website, we've mentioned our retrospect series. I'm finally going to kick that off. What's the game going to be? I don't know. You'll have to find out. I mean, I totally know, but I'm not saying spoilers. But brief overview. What our plans are for that series is to take an older game that we really like and not necessarily play through it or anything, but just showcase some of the things that we liked about it. Maybe we want to nitpick at it and oh god, this game looks horrible now compared to new games. It didn't age well, but there's stuff. A list a mile long as to why I like it specifically. So basically, we're just going to be going back and looking at older games and saying why we enjoy them.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do because it sounds like it's going to be really good. That's going to be really interesting. And mine I've kind of done and reiterated a few times on here, and I'm probably going to start actually getting into recording more than what I do now. But if you follow us on YouTube, you'll see every Sunday that we have a Sunday show now of me recommending music. So far, it's gotten a decent amount of responses, so I'm keeping that going. And then I'm going to start trying to do music reviews. I don't want to segment the channel too much just because music and video games kind of are two different worlds, and I've thought long and hard about that just in general. But I think it'll be fine for now. But that's basically what I've been planning on doing. I'm trying to figure out what I want to start with. So we'll see what happens there. I'm sure I'll probably hop on the retrospective train at some point. Got to warm up my graphics card.
I'm sure you will.
So,
you
yeah.
have a larger collection of older games than I think I do.
Probably. Sounds about right.
I mean,
Yeah, anyways.
yeah.
So we were going to talk about those a little more, but ran out of time here. Either way. Guess we just don't have to talk about so much junk in the beginning, but we'll move on to our final advertising notes here. Quote unquote advertising. Brought to you by Sling TV. No. Anyways, so you can hit us up on Twitter. I'm FranticJ3. He is ONYX Spartan, Onyx Spartan, however you want to say it. Don't call it ONX. That's not right. And at Frantic_Talks. All of that is on Twitter. You can hit us up, say hi, let us know what you think the Nintendo Switch is going to cost. Definitely love to hear what you guys think about everything in general, not just the Nintendo Switch. After that, you can go to facebook.com/Frantic Talks. I almost said Frantic J3. Facebook.com/Frantic Talks. That's where we post all of our articles there. It's less frequently though. Twitch.tv/Frantic J3 the third. That is Frantic J3, THE 3RD. Because some bastard took Frantic J3. So annoying that someone did that. Anyways. After that, you can go to frantictalks.com, check out our articles, magic.frantictalks.com if you're interested in Magic the Gathering and you want to read up on some of the dumb stuff we've come up with. And then youtube.com, search Frantic Space Talks. You can find us on there. That's where we're going to be posting a lot of the videos we just talked about, including the retrospectives, the music stuff, the Sunday show that's happening now, and we post the video form of this podcast. I'm going to start uploading them on Mondays now instead of Sundays since we have the Sunday show. So if you kind of tune in live, you get to hear it 2 days early.
Ooh.
So there's some incentive. And we might start doing like giveaways or something random to people who should actually show up and listen. I'm like wagging my finger at the camera. You can't see it, but you darn kids, show up and stop playing your video games. That about sums it up. We're also on iTunes, Frantic Talks. Just search it. We'll be there. And if you can't find it that way, or you can't find any of this stuff, it is all on the website, frantictalks.com. You can find everything you need there and more. And that about sums it up for me.
So basically what you're saying is if you want to find us, just type in Frantic Talks and you'll find us.
Most likely. But I like to at least say where we are so that way you search it and don't have to go looking on like other random websites that for some reason you might think we're on.
Fair point.
So yeah. I did make a Tumblr, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's Frantic J3. But that's not the point. I made a Tumblr. I share random stuff, usually communist memes and nature pictures. I don't know what that had to do with anything. I just felt like saying it out loud. All right, guys. So I think that about wraps it up. Like I said, every Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, you can catch us live. And then every Monday, we'll upload the podcast. Sunday, we upload music. And we're going to get other stuff going on the YouTube channel. And then, of course, I'm sure we'll have articles that'll go along here and there. But YouTube videos take longer to make. But they're way cooler. So, all right, that about sums up. You got anything else to add?
Nope, I believe that's it.
All right, cool. Well, I guess we will see you guys next time. Remember, hit us up on Twitter. Join in on the conversation. Love to hear your thoughts. Anyways, that about does it. So I'm Frantic.
I'm Grunt.
See you guys next time.